We have some breaking news at 7 p.m. this evening. For a third consecutive day, Iran and Israel are continuing to exchange ballistic missiles. The latest fired by Iran in the last few minutes. These are the latest pictures, which appear to show many of the missiles being intercepted over Tel Aviv. Well, our Home and Security editor, Mark White, joins me now with the latest. Mark, G7 leaders are calling for de-escalation, but there's no sign of any let-up from either side yet.
No, Israel is intent on pushing through with its aim of trying to ensure that Iran no longer has the capability to build a nuclear weapon, as Israel and, of course, many Western nations believe it is intent on doing. Let's look at those images, the latest images that have been seen tonight over Jerusalem, over Tel Aviv and over Haifa. We're told of direct hits over the northern city of Haifa, explosions in the skies as well over Tel Aviv and over Jerusalem as the missile defense array system springs into action, as it's done, of course, on so many occasions. It's well used to aerial threats, but the difficulty for this aerial array system, as good as it is, you're dealing with ballistic missiles which in the terminal phase, as they plummet towards the Earth, having re-entered the atmosphere, they reach phenomenal speeds. They are difficult to shoot down, and some have got through, which of course we've seen today in that community just south of Tel Aviv, where an apartment block suffered a direct hit from a ballistic missile, and at least 10 people have been killed, dozens of others injured. And on the images you just saw there, you saw an impact on the ground there, and that looked either to be a ballistic missile directly going down or perhaps the result of an interception and then whatever was left hitting the ground. They could be just as deadly, of course, these huge payloads that were in the sort of interceptor missiles and indeed in the ballistic missiles coming across, but that was certainly going at a rate of knots into the ground there, so it may well have been a ballistic missile impact. As I say, we're getting reports that the northern port city of Haifa has suffered a direct hit in the last few minutes. Now, the Israeli ambulance medical services are not at this stage reporting any casualties, but you know, we're only 20 minutes into this latest alert, the second wave of ballistic missiles launched by Iran today. We had a wave that came in late this afternoon, very unusual in daylight hours for the Iranians to expose their missile launching systems, which are often on the back of trucks that they take out there. They fire the ballistic missiles into or towards Israel, but they're exposed at daytime. So that's why we see many of these launches taking place now in the evening hours. But of course, given that they're now launching them during the day, that signals a change of tactics from the Iranians. We'll leave you with these images looking out into the skyline over central and northern Israel as more ballistic missiles have come into the atmosphere over central and northern Israel from Iran.
Mark, thank you. Our Home and Security editor, Mark White, there reporting on the latest conflict between Israel and Iran.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, let's lighten the mood by getting some questions from the audience. Our first question is coming from Michael.
Good evening, Andrew. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Will the US be drawn into the Iran-Israel conflict?
I did say let's lighten the mood, Michael. You didn't really listen to the instruction there, but yes, well, of course, that's rumbling on after a few days. And, you know, Steve, is it not fair to assume that Donald Trump was informed in advance? I know he says he wasn't, but surely he was informed.
Definitely informed.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not involved in the decision, but surely informed, because the first level of strikes were the correct level to make negotiation easier.
Yes.
Because they could have just hit the oil refineries first of all, just try and ruin the economy, but they did and they didn't even successfully wipe out all nuclear capability, but there's enough attack to then, when Donald Trump says, you better sit down and talk, otherwise things are really going to go bad,
yes,
it's going to help the discussion.
Well, you think this is going to force people to the negotiating table?
Yes, at some point, definitely. I mean, I don't want to get all Doctor Who about this, but at some point, all of this ends with two people sat down talking.
Perhaps, but, you know, Leo, I'm a bit sceptical about this because, I mean, the Ayatollah of Iran for many years has been posting on Twitter, not being ambiguous, we want to wipe Israel off the map entirely.
Pretty much Iran was set up with the express purpose of exterminating the Jews, and they've had half a century to prepare for it. And then the chance comes along, you know, Israel declares war on them, and they're just like, run around, fire some missiles into the air. I love it, Trump, by the way. I mean, obviously, America is already involved in this because you know they're not flying Scottish-made planes into Iranian airspace.
No, well, they wouldn't work, would they?
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Actually, I mean, maybe Scotland would have made great. We make good steam trains.
That's
we have
true.
a steam-powered jet fighter. But yeah, I mean, I just think Trump, his whole campaign thing was if I was in charge, there wouldn't be any war. Everybody'd be too scared to have a war. Well, the moment he gets in, everybody starts fighting.
Quite. I mean, isn't this the issue with Iran? Is that ultimately, you know, we're going back to the question of appeasement back in the Second World War. You know, a lot of people said, you know, let's just let Hitler go into Czechoslovakia. Let's just let him go into Austria. It's fine. You know, we'll just turn a blind eye. Turned out that was the wrong move.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think you can accuse the Iranian regime of being ambiguous when it comes to their attitude towards Israel. They do want to eliminate it. There's no getting around that. If they had a nuke, that's what they'd do, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is what I was saying. You don't want to have them having nuclear capability. Do you know what? People talk some trash about the Iran deal, but at least they weren't refining stuff. This is what it all comes down to, isn't it? The enrichment level of uranium. You need it something like 3-point-something% for fuel, and then up there at 60% for weapons. Unless they're trying to make some ace electricity, they don't need to enrich higher than that. So as soon as they do that, then they're breaching the deal. But sadly, the way Trump version 1 did it, instead of saying this deal's got flaws, let's fix it, it was like, we're pulling out, let's show how strong we are. And now look, we are. They're doing the enrichment.
Yeah. But this is, I mean, it's pretty much over already. It was over on the first night. I mean, Israel's taken out their airstrips, they've taken out air defence, they completely own the Iranian airspace now. So it's not as if it's, you know, like Ukraine and Russia with both sides having strengths and both sides, you know, not having complete dominance. I mean, Israel has got complete dominance, and it's kind of embarrassing for Iran. I almost feel, I think I'm going to donate to Hezbollah. I feel that bad.
I think Hezbollah's pretty much gone at this point, isn't it? You know. Okay, well, look, glad we solved the Middle East crisis there.